Emily Parker, born and raised in Maplewood, Ohio, was an exceptional student and teacher. Her passion for teaching emerged during her high school years, inspired by a history teacher who brought the past to life in vivid detail. Emily pursued her dream by attending Ohio State University, where she earned her degree in education. After returning to Maplewood, she secured a teaching position at the local elementary school, dedicating herself to her students and tutoring struggling students on weekends. Emily had a wide range of interests, including hiking, photography, and historical novels. She was warm, compassionate, and always ready to lend a helping hand. She met David Reynolds at a friend's wedding, who was charming, with a quick wit and easy smile. David, a financial consultant from New York City, immediately felt an attraction to Emily and proposed to her. Their brief but intense romance took everyone by surprise. Emily's family and friends had mixed feelings about the rapid engagement, as they couldn't shake a sense of unease about David's extravagant lifestyle. However, Emily was enamored and reassured everyone that David was her soulmate. Their wedding was a grand affair held in a picturesque vineyard, attended by over 200 guests. David Reynolds, born and raised in Queens, New York, grew up with a strong drive to escape the financial hardships of his upbringing. He excelled in school, earning a scholarship to New York University, where he studied finance. His relentless work ethic paid off, and upon graduation, he landed a coveted position at a top financial consultancy. His success afforded him a lifestyle he had always dreamed of, but his professional success masked deeper issues. When David met Emily Parker, she represented something different. Her genuine warmth and small-town innocence were a stark contrast to the superficial relationships he was accustomed to. As their relationship progressed, cracks began to appear. David's financial empire was not as solid as it seemed, with risky investments and mounting debts. His extravagant spending habits, which he kept hidden from Emily, compounded his financial troubles. His decision to propose was as much about securing a future with Emily as it was about seeking stability amid his growing financial chaos. In St. Lucia, David and Emily were on their honeymoon, enjoying the island's lush landscapes and serene beaches. They were escorted to an exclusive resort, where they enjoyed romantic dinners, sunset walks, and excursions. However, the night of Emily's disappearance, they went missing. David suggested a moonlit walk along the beach, and Emily agreed. They strolled along the water's edge, and the moonlight cast a silver glow on her figure. David returned to their bungalow to fetch a jacket for Emily, but when he returned, she was gone. Panic set in as he searched the beach, calling her name, alerting the resort staff, who joined the search. The following morning, the local police were notified and began an immediate investigation, questioning resort staff and guests. Divers searched the waters near the beach, and sniffer dogs were brought in to track any scent that might lead to Emily. Despite their efforts, no clues emerged. The beach was combed for any personal items, but nothing was found. David's behavior began to attract scrutiny, and witnesses provided conflicting accounts of their activities, their relationship, and any possible reasons Emily might have had to leave suddenly. As the investigation stalled, David's narrative became the only story available. His plea for information was broadcast on news networks, becoming the public image of a grieving husband. Meanwhile, Detective Hayes was piecing together a different story, hinting at a more sinister truth. He arrived at the resort, greeted by the tropical heat and the sight of tourists enjoying their vacations. Hayes interviewed David Reynolds, who seemed genuinely distraught but had an underlying tension. He recounted the events of the night Emily disappeared, asking pointed questions about their activities, their relationship, and any possible reasons Emily might have had to leave suddenly. The accounts varied, some aligning with David's story, while others contradicted it. As the days passed, the investigation broadened, finding David to be both successful and secretive. His financial records revealed a troubling pattern, with large withdrawals from his accounts suggesting a gambling problem and several investments having failed spectacularly. Interviews with David's colleagues and friends in New York revealed a different side of him, described as charming but unreliable, with a penchant for risky ventures and a history of romantic entanglements. A letter in Emily's handwriting found hidden in her suitcase hinted at her growing unease about David, expressing fear that she had made a terrible mistake in marrying him. The evidence was mounting, and Detective Hayes felt the pieces of the puzzle starting to come together. Without Emily, the case remained frustratingly incomplete. The financial investigation into David Reynolds' affairs revealed a cascade of deceit, as Detective Hayes and his team discovered a complex network of bank accounts, hidden assets, and dubious transactions. David's financial empire was crumbling due to risky investments and substantial debt. He had been involved in several questionable business ventures, such as a failed real estate development in Florida and a tech startup that went bankrupt, leaving him with substantial debts. These ventures, combined with his gambling habits, drained his resources and left him in a precarious financial position. Testimonies from friends and colleagues about David's character began to form a consistent narrative, describing him as someone who would do anything to maintain his image of success, even if it meant deceiving those closest to him. Emily seemed to have been drawn into a web of lies and financial manipulation. The mounting evidence suggested that David's involvement in Emily's disappearance was more than just circumstantial. His financial desperation, coupled with the inconsistencies in his story, pointed to a more sinister motive. As the investigation deepened, another layer of David Reynolds' double life began to unfold. His extramarital affairs were uncovered, revealing a series of clandestine relationships that painted a picture of a man far different from the devoted husband he appeared to be. David's phone records and emails revealed communications with several women, some of whom he had met through his business dealings, while others were casual encounters. These relationships ranged from fleeting flings to more serious entanglements. The revelations had a profound impact on the case, establishing a pattern of deceit and suggesting potential motives for Emily's disappearance. David's affairs indicated a man capable of maintaining multiple lives, each carefully compartmentalized to prevent discovery. His ability to juggle these relationships while hiding his financial troubles from Emily spoke to his skill at deception. Interviews with his past lovers painted a picture of a man driven by a need for validation and material success. With the financial empire collapsing and his web of lies unraveling, the pressure on David had reached a breaking point. Emily's disappearance and the subsequent focus on David threatened to expose his entire charade. As Detective Hayes pieced together the evidence, it became clear that the investigation was far from straightforward. Each new discovery added complexity to the case, revealing the depths of David's deceit and the lengths he was willing to go to maintain his facade. Detective Hayes was initially confident in his understanding of David Reynolds' involvement in Emily Parker's disappearance. However, a shocking twist emerged when Alex Carter, a private investigator from New York, revealed crucial information about David Reynolds and his activities. Alex had been hired by an anonymous client to investigate David Reynolds months before Emily's disappearance, suspected of financial misconduct and infidelity. His investigation had uncovered significant evidence of both, including David's movements and communications, documenting his secret affairs and shady business dealings. Alex's most startling revelation was about Emily. According to his findings, Emily had discovered David's infidelity and financial troubles shortly before their wedding. She had confided in a close friend, who had hired Alex to gather evidence, hoping to give Emily a way out of her situation. Alex provided Detective Hayes with a dossier of his findings, including photographs, financial records, and transcripts of conversations. One particularly damning piece of evidence was a recording of a conversation between David and an unknown associate discussing plans that hinted at foul play. This new information complicated the case significantly, introducing the possibility that Emily might have been aware of David's plans and had taken steps to protect herself. Detective Hayes considered the idea that Emily could have staged her disappearance to escape David's clutches. However, the lack of concrete evidence made this theory difficult to prove. He decided to re-interview everyone involved and spoke again with Emily's family and friends, uncovering more details about her state of mind before the wedding. Emily's best friend, Lisa, revealed that Emily had been increasingly anxious in the weeks leading up to the honeymoon. David's reaction to the reopened investigation was one of surprise and agitation. as he denied any involvement in Emily's disappearance and dismissed the evidence provided by Alex Carter as fabrications. As the investigation continued, Detective Hayes faced mounting pressure to solve the case. The new information from Alex Carter provided valuable leads, but also complicated the narrative, making it harder to distinguish between victim and perpetrator. Hayes knew that the truth lay somewhere within the tangled web of deceit and betrayal, and he was determined to unravel it. The investigation into Emily Parker's disappearance stretched on for months, with Detective Hayes and his team following every lead, no matter how tenuous. Public opinion was divided, with some believing David Reynolds was guilty of foul play, and others speculated that Emily had staged her own disappearance to escape a troubled marriage. David Reynolds was arrested and charged with multiple crimes, including fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy to commit harm. The evidence provided by Alex Carter, combined with Emily's testimony, built a strong case against him. The jury found him guilty on all counts, and he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. The case left lasting scars on everyone involved, but Emily remained a symbol of resilience and survival. Detective Hayes reflected on the case as one of the most challenging of his career, revealing the dark complexities of love, trust, and betrayal.